Hey guys, if you're starting your journey into photography, there's one thing you need, besides a camera of course, and that's a lens. And I wish someone told me what I know now 10 years in the business, and that is that there is one lens that can do 90% of the jobs. And that is the right lens to buy at the beginning for most of the people. Hi, my name is Chris, and in this video I will tell you exactly which lens I mean. And the good thing is, it's out there for every mount system. After this video, you will know everything about lenses you need to know at the beginning. I do not overcomplicate it, but after this video you know what focal length is, you know what aperture is, you know what an f-stop is, you know what a prime is, and you know what a zoom is. So let's start by dividing lenses into focal length. And we will start with the standard focal length, with the standard lenses, and that are all the lenses around 50mm. 50mm is what the eye sees. That is what you see in front of you. And therefore it can be used for almost everything. It is used in portrait photography, it is used in landscape sometimes, it is used in commercial a lot, it is used in reportage photography. And the standard lenses are going everywhere from a light wide angle from, let's say, 35mm up to 60 or 70mm, where you go into the tele range. And with that said, let's jump into the wide angle lenses that, like the name says, are shooting things wider. They are used if you want a lot of things in frame. For example, in landscape photography or interior photography if you want to make rooms bigger than they are. And the other side of focal length are tele lenses. Tele lenses are those big wide lenses that are seen on the sideline of a football game, for example. They are the lenses where you can zoom in, where you can isolate games and players and things like that. Or in wildlife photography, if you want to shoot the eagle up in the sky, you need also lenses from 500 up to 1000mm. So to round that up, lenses from the lowest end up to 35mm are called wide angle lenses. Lenses from there to 60 or 70 are called the standard lenses, and lenses from 70 upwards are called tele lenses. And with that said, so let's understand aperture. And it's crucial to understand that aperture is not the same than f-stops. The aperture is in the lens and controls the amount of light that hits the sensor, and f-stops do measure the aperture. So let's try to simplify it. Let's say the lower the number of your f-stop is, the wider open your aperture is, and the more light hits the sensor, which results in a more blurry background, a higher shutter speed, or lower ISO, which gives you better image quality if you have lower ISO, or you can freeze action if you have the highest shutter speed. The higher the number of the f-stop is, the more the aperture is closed and less light is hitting the sensor. Therefore, you need higher ISOs, slower shutter speeds, or you can shoot in bright sunlight. And you have sharpness from the front to the end, which is often appreciated in landscape photography. For example, portraits are often shot wide open to blur the background. Landscapes are often shot from f8 up to f16 to have the more sharpness in the image. So I know for all the pros out there, that's very simplified, but I think for the beginning, that's crucial to understand it and to not overwhelm the beginners. So now that we categorized lenses by the focal length and we talked about aperture, there's one other thing, and that's the difference between prime and zoom lenses. A prime lens is a lens that has a fixed focal length, like this 55mm lens. This lens can only shoot on 55. You always have the same look. Now, the other lenses that are out there are lenses like this one. These are zoom lenses. This one, for example, has a range from 28mm up to 70mm. And by the way, every lens has the focal length and the aperture written onto the lens, here. So by now, one thing should be absolutely clear. The zoom lens gives you a bigger variety. Now you may be asked, why should you buy a 55 lens if you can have a 28 to 70mm lens that has a 55mm focal length included? Well, most of the time, prime lenses have a lower aperture. Therefore, you get more blur of background, or you can have those higher shutter speeds and lower ISOs as we said before. But they often have another advantage, and that is they are rendered for exactly this focal length, the 55. So normally prime lenses are sharper than zoom lenses. And that's basically the difference between zoom lenses and prime lenses. The zoom lenses give you the higher variety, and the prime lenses give you the higher quality and the wider aperture. So, which one is the lens that you should get at the beginning? Many will say, get something like this, a 50mm lens with a wide open aperture. And while that's not a bad choice, it will limit you a lot. At the beginning, most of the time, you do not really know what you will shoot at the end, or what will be the most shot thing. Well, there comes this lens. This is a standard zoom lens with an f2.8 aperture. And that's exactly the lens I would suggest buying, because this is the lens that I use to do 90% of my jobs. The big benefit of this lens is that you have everything from a medium wide angle to a little bit of a tele lens as well. So you can try out what you want to shoot. You can shoot landscapes, you can shoot portraits. You have the f2.8 aperture where you can shoot blurred background, low ISOs, high shutter speed to have those nice image qualities and the frozen action. And the best thing is, back in the days, this lens was way above $2,000, so it wasn't reachable for most of the beginners. These days, Tamron and Sigma build those lenses as well, and they build it at a great price. Sometimes you can get this 28-70 lens below $700, and that's a great price. For APS-C, you have to think a bit different. This is not a standard zoom lens for APS-C lenses, because you have to factor in the 1.5 crop factor. But Sigma also builds lenses for the APS-C cameras as well, even for Canon. Just factor in the 1.5 crop factor and you know which one you need. I think it is something like 70 up to 50. Now let me know, for which camera are you buying this lens? And if you're still searching your first camera, this video is for you. In this video I tell you which could be your first camera. Thanks for watching, until the next one.